What up, it's your boy Brandon Pops Griffin. You know what it is when you hear my voice, Babyface Hills. We are here. We're on the road to Backlash because the road to WrestleMania is over. But before I get too deep in depth, let me introduce my squad. 2 out of my 4 boys is with me right now. Menace Red to my left.
Yo, yo, yo.
Ricky Bobby to my right.
Yep.
And Ricky, as always, let the folks know what they need to do.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can be notified every single time we post.
Every single time we post. Now, before I get too deep and go too far down the bunny trail, let me just remind y'all that this Babyface Hill is being brought to you by the Griffin Family Entertainment Network or whatever. Menace Red, the narrator, myth, the man, the legend, please let them know what's happening.
Hey, everybody. So, it seems like we haven't talked to you guys in a little while. We got a lot of stuff to run down. We're going to go over some things on SmackDown in the previous weeks that tie into these Raw shows. Everything's going together pretty well. So let's just jump right into it. So for this Monday Night Raw, we have some travel issues. About a third of the roster is not able to show up at the beginning of the show. The whole show is rewritten basically on the fly, and we get a very solid Raw. So we open up with Rey Mysterio addressing the WWE Universe, and of course he's interrupted by none other than his ungrateful son Dominic, which this leads to a match, Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor. How do you guys feel about this opening show?
I actually thought it was a great opening. I don't get where, I don't get where it's going. Like, Dominic had lost, so I don't really get what's going. But Rey Mysterio came out, he addressed it. Dominic came out, and then they went back for a little bit. And then basically Rey was saying, like, let's do it again if you want to keep talking. And then Dominic was like, oh, I don't want to fight my own father, blah, 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 blah. And then he brought Finn Balor out, and they had a match. But before I talk about the match, I'll let Pops chime in on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering where this whole LWO and the Judgment Day thing, I know it's going to Backlash, clearly. Right. Bad Bunny's hosting Backlash, right? So the Latin movement is happening. It's alive and strong, at least for a few more weeks. So we'll figure out what happens with there. As far as the match goes, though, always a pleasure to see the Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio out there putting in the work, showing these young boys up, by the way, because he's up there and he's still moving around as if he's a young guy. So shout outs to Rey Mysterio. Finn Balor looks great, man. He doesn't even look like he just came out of a cell. So I thought it was a really great match. We'll see where it goes. Shout out to Finn for getting the dub.
Yeah. Ricky Bobby, talk more about the match.
Yeah, so then, kind of to close the match, Dominic had the chain again, and he
called back to Mania.
Yeah, called back to Mania, and he ended up hitting Rey at this time, which enabled Finn to get the win. But overall, pretty good match. Very good show opener to have to be changed really quickly. I thought it was pretty nice execution.
Definitely a good way to open the show. And next we had the team of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus tag team champions on the women's side, Becky Lynch, but with Trish Stratus. Lita was injured. I don't know if in storyline, I don't know what happened. They found Lita on the floor holding her neck. Nobody knows what happened there. So Trish steps in and is Becky Lynch's partner for this match. Liv and Raquel won a number 1 contendership match versus Shotzi and Natalya on SmackDown the week before. How'd you guys feel about this match?
It was a pretty good match. I feel like Liv and Raquel work well in the ring. I don't know if anyone else could put that together or think it seemed simple, but after I kind of just thought it out, I think the person storyline set up that she was attacked by Trish because what happened later on after the match. But it was a good match. It's a good win for Liv and Raquel. To be new titles is good. It shows that the new wave of females are thriving, and they were able to take the belt away from the legends. But yeah, Liv and Raquel's like in-ring work together looks really, really good. They could go pretty far.
Yeah, shout out to Liv and Raquel, new women's tag team champions, well deserved. I think we were talking about both of their ring ability. We saw a lot of it. Raquel in the major events that was leading up, this Royal Rumble, different things like that. We also saw with Liv on the shows. Right. And so to actually see them get in there, all of a sudden, boom, they're the number one contenders, and then boom, you know, here they are as the champions. It's pretty interesting. I'm wondering how long will they have a run, because I can see the better they get, the harder it's going to be to believe that a tag team made them drop them. There is a very dangerous tag team out there, right? So we know where that probably is on a head-on collision, obviously, because Shayna and Ronda definitely feel like they're entitled. But not to go down the bunny trail as far as that may go and what may and could and would have should happen. Shout outs to them. Trish going heel, never seen this before. So never seen this side of her. So very interesting to see where this is going to go. And basically, you know, Becky Lynch she's always the one that's taking on the bully on the block. So I would imagine even if Lita was attacked by Trish and she does feel better, she'll probably just be in Lita's corner in Becky's corner for support, because I think Becky is just gonna say, nope, I got this, and I'm gonna smash her out. So,
basically to kind of elaborate on what you said, I'm even more so confused on what that WrestleMania 4-way women's tag was about, because like they won, but like what did it do? Because Ronda and Shayna, like what does it do with Liv and like Liv and Raquel got it? So I don't know, I'm confused on that. But basically after the match, Trish got rolled up, causing Becky to lose titles, even though Trish isn't really a team member. So I guess it was like a little bittersweet moment for Becky. I was watching the show live with Red, and we were sitting there, we were like, oh, Becky's about to heel turn. And then they like went separate ways, and then Trish came back with the hit, and we were very shocked. I didn't think Trish would, you know, like do a heel turn at all, because like Pop said, it is always Becky. But I think it's cool, and it shows I guess like a more like dynamic instead of getting the same type storyline. And if Trish, like if Becky was to turn heel and Becky beat Trish, it didn't prove anything. So with Trish turning heel and then most likely getting beat by Becky, it shows more, like it evolves the storyline more. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, a few points I want to hit here. First, I want to say congrats to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez on being the new champs. We thought that they should be the champions if it wasn't going to be Ronda and Shayna. We thought they were the best options. Yep. So it's cool to see that WWE agreed with us. I think Ronda and Shayna just aren't a fit. One, they're not durable. And Liv and Raquel have a lot more upside. People forget Liv Morgan was a women's champion before. Right. She does have a lot of the crowd behind her. And I also want to point out, I love how they brought up Raquel Rodriguez and didn't just thrust her, how they thrust Rhea Ripley when they first called her up. Right. They're letting her gel in the tag team scene. She's not like forced upon us at all. She feels like she fit, but she kind of just slid in there a little bit, which is dope. And I think Becky Lynch is just on her Legends run. She had her one-on-one with Lita a couple years ago, and people liked that match. And Trish right now is looking better in the ring than Lita. Yeah. So to have never before seen Trish intentional heel turn, because she was like Vince McMahon's mistress when she first came in, but she wasn't like intentionally doing the heel stuff. Like she went out of her way to turn on Becky after they dropped the titles. So now Becky can fight her at Backlash. I want to see how Lita ties into this. I think how Pop said, she'll probably just be in someone's corner rooting for them, or stuck in the middle, which is always cool in wrestling storylines. But I'm excited to see that match.
To tag on the point that Red made, I don't think that Ronda and Shayna would have been entertaining champions. Like, I mean, it'd be cool for them to get the win, but they're not very versatile. So it'll be like the same kind of thing every single match. So I think it's better that Liv and Raquel got
I think there's a way for Ronda and Shayna to be champions. They'd have to do like Triple H and Stone Cold, like 2-man power trip or 2-women power trip, and just run through everything. Right. But I don't think necessarily that they are, I don't want to say built for that, but just given their history, they don't seem motivated by much.
If you're not durable, you're
Yeah.
not getting the belt.
If you're not durable, we talk about that off camera in another situation. But yeah, a lot going on in that aspect of women's division. The women's division in total, it's wild. Next up, we have our guy Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed, New Blood. How'd you guys feel about that match?
I wasn't gonna say it on here, but I'll say it. So I got Bronson Reed confused with another guy, and then I was talking to Red about it, and then he was like, who do you think it was? And I was like, I was just calling him the Samoan Rhino. So I just think it's pretty interesting that I know his name now. Thought it was a cool little story. But in terms of match, it was a good match. It was a nice mid card. It was a place where it needed to be. I think the ending of the match was most entertaining, with led up to the brawl or attempted brawl, whatever it was. I don't know where that's gonna go, but honestly, like where it is right now, I'm here for it. Like I would like to see where it goes with Bobby and Bronson.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Bobby Lashley, my guy, and my guy Bronson Reed, who's more like the Australian Rhino. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say this: their match went a lot longer than Lashley matches typically do go.
Yeah.
So that was impressive. And then for it to end in a count out, and then for it to be a brawl between them, I was like, okay, I was digging it. He was definitely giving Lashley some fits. Lashley was still being able to show that, he still had the power and so forth. But we'll see where it goes. I'm like Ricky Bobby, I'm here for it. Good to see some type of a decent rivalry with Lashley and to see where it's going to all go. And ultimately help Bronson Reed come up, because that's what it's about.
And if you're wondering where this is stemming from with Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed, they had a few run-ins since WrestleMania. Since the SmackDown before Mania, Lashley won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Bronson Reed started antagonizing him in the following weeks, and it basically culminated to this match. And like Pop said, an entertaining angle with Bobby Lashley, but who would have thought it came in the form of Bronson Reed out of all the people he's been feuding with lately.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, this actually had me interested. A good match and a good segment after, so I'm excited to see where it goes forward.
Yeah, and no one here said it yet, so I'll say it. I think that in ring, Bronson Reed is actually pretty good. And he's
good.
He's really good in ring. He's very impressive too. And I feel like this whole wave of bigger, heavier set guys are doing more than we've necessarily seen before, and not because some have been doing it before, but just in terms of overall, they look pretty good in ring and they're hanging with everybody. So I think it's cool.
We were talking about this off camera a little bit about the super heavyweights and how, the great Bam Bam Bigelow and the great Vader, right? These guys were the guys that were doing moonsaults. They were doing all type of crazy stuff way ahead of their time.
Right.
We got splashed a little bit with the great Umaga and a few others sprinkled in there. But to actually see some real consistency with guys that are considered super heavyweights, and they are, they can move, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Less
It's
botchy,
very impressive.
less botchy than the guys that you would expect to not be botchy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And I want to point out, I think this is the first angle coming off of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal that leads into a storyline, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not just some win and then the guy gets thrust into something else. Next, we had our guy, the American Nightmare, top babyface in the company. He's been going through it. I'll just give you guys a rundown. After Mania, he got a tag team partner, a formidable one, or so he thought, and Brock Lesnar to take on the Bloodline finally. And Brock Lesnar ends up beating the brakes off of Cody, basically almost injuring him, throwing him all over the place, turning on him.
It's crazy.
And from there, Cody's lost. He doesn't know what to do. And this week, he comes out, his first time speaking, and he says, Seattle, what do you want to talk about? How'd you guys feel about it?
I don't know. I mean, I get that, there was flight complications, so some people couldn't have been there. I feel like maybe if there wasn't, maybe Brock and him would have had to come face to face. It seems like they're building up to that match at
that's what the promo was about. He called him out.
Yeah. Or maybe because I don't know how Roman's gonna tie into maybe a triple threat. I think we talked about that off camera. But in terms of the segment, it was pretty nice. I liked like some of the metaphors he was using to target Brock. I thought they were interesting.
Spin.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, he was very entertaining. Some people can't really do segments well, and I think his word choices or the way he decides to say his words make it more like entertaining and more intriguing.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cody's one of the best promo in the business. It was very passionate at moments, and like Rick said, he used a lot of figurative language and good words to get his point across. And basically, he's calling out Brock Lesnar. I don't know if it's going to be a triple threat at Backlash because this seems to have truly shifted his focus away from Roman Reigns.
That's
Brock
true.
Lesnar is a big enough problem in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the segment, it was very passionate and full of conviction from Cody.
Definitely was. I mean, I love one of the things about Cody that I enjoy, as you mentioned, he is the microphone guy right now. He's the microphone god when he comes out there. What do you want to talk about? And we all just kind of like, yeah, we want to talk about this, and he already knows our pulse, knows what we want to talk about. And I appreciate the transparency about, yeah, am I scared? Well, I'm scared, but guess what? We got to fight, dog, because you did me wrong. So I am excited about that. Here to see where it's going to go as far as, where it will go. Brock is my guy, and he is a Punisher, and he can go a little, kooky sometimes. But I think this is going to be good for Cody, I believe.
Yeah, I think this is good for Cody. I'll make a quick point. Me and Pops were talking off camera. I hope this is not I hope the honeymoon phase is not over for Cody in the sense that he couldn't beat Roman. So here we are, and he's going to get beat up by Brock Lesnar for however long and just go into some meaningless stories. And this is really their payback for him defecting, sneak dissing, and starting his own company.
Yo, wouldn't that suck, though, the fact that they're paying him pretty well? You know what I mean? He's got some perks in there, so everything is going well for him. But here's the flip side. Yeah, you're going to win Royal Rumble. You're going to lose to Roman. Okay, fine, it happens. We get that. But now you're going to go against the Beast, and however long it is, he's going to beat your butt. Yep. And you're probably gonna get your shoulders pinned to the mat 1, 2, 3. I think that would suck. I think
That's
he's gonna get his
terrible.
butt beat, but the hope is that he's gonna get the win, because if he doesn't get the win,
Whoever
It's happened to guys before. When DDP finally came over to WWE,
Great point.
he had solid storylines, like the Undertaker. Well, not solid storylines, but solid fights. He had a solid fight against the Undertaker. On paper, you say Diamond Dallas Page versus the Undertaker for X title. That's crazy. Then you see it, and it's just DDP getting embarrassed and beat up week in, week out, pay-per-view out.
Yeah.
So we've seen it happen to guys before, and I just hope that's not the case with Cody. The whole internet, the whole world is rooting for him to be champion, and it doesn't look like that. Hopefully he can survive Brock.
Yeah, I mean, which I think he will, just to keep the storyline going. I think he will end up winning, and May 27th, not a champion in Saudi Arabia. So maybe he can. I don't know. I still think that he's going to end up taking the title from Roman. I mean, we're approaching 1,000 days, but I still think that at some point, I think that he's going to be the one. I don't know who else really can in the locker room.
Solo.
yeah, I
No,
do.
what?
They're building Solo up though. Maybe not just yet, but it who knows?
Absolutely not. That's the day I would stop being in tune with this podcast. You are the backup guy in a group, and then
And let's
you,
not
you
get lost.
skip.
Let's not get lost.
We don't want to go
Goodness
down the buddy
gracious.
hole. Well, let's say I will say this for Cody though. I think he has to win the match against Brock, because if he doesn't win, to me, he's completely out of the title.
How does he win?
He's a title conversation. Well, you got to outlast the Beast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to outlast him. When the Beast gets his hands on you, prepare yourself. Hopefully you don't get a concussion, because he's going to throw you all around. Welcome to Suplex City. But if you can get through Suplex City about 10 minutes and get your head ringed, Cody can win.
You know, a lot of guys say, like Moxley said this about his match with Lesnar, and a few guys say this. They say, basically, they'll go up to Lesnar, maybe, say, 3 days before the match, hey, I think we should do this. This would be cool. Lesnar, I'll think about it. Then, 2 days, they bring up someone else, and this would be cool. I'll think about it. And basically, Lesnar waits until the last minute, and he's like, "No, I don't want to do any of that. We're just gonna do a few suplexes. I'm gonna beat you up. Then whoever's supposed to win, just power up and win." And with certain guys, he doesn't really give them the leeway of having a match. It's like you're gonna get beat up if you're supposed to win. Power up at the end, hit me with the weapon at the end. But pretty much, hopefully, that's not the case with Cody. But I could see it though. I don't see them having good chemistry in the ring, but I could be wrong because Cody has had good chemistry with everyone he's been in the ring with so far.
Yeah, great point.
To continue further on Monday Night Raw, we had them ones, former tag team champions, 600-day reign, greatest tag team of the modern era, at least.
Wow.
The Usos versus the Alpha Academy, the team of Otis and Chad Gable. How'd you guys feel about this?
Well, before we get into it, now they're them twos, not ones no more. They're titleless. They're them twos.
Wow. That was pointless. That was pointless.
No.
Right.
No, they're them twos. I'm not gonna give them the props anymore. But it was a very decent match. I think it was a good because with the Usos being the bloodline, it's good to keep them relevant and having them be in action still. But overall, pretty decent match. I still even I was just joking around about number 2. I still think that they're they're a very good tag team, and even I feel like sometimes their matches get repetitive, but it's still pretty impressive to see it in the ring when it comes to the Usos. So, and I think that Otis and Chad Gable look pretty good in the ring. So I think overall it was a pretty solid match.
Yeah, definitely a solid match. The Usos, they're gonna basically they're working their way back up. They're gonna just run through the tag team division, and at some point they'll get their belts back. Not worried about that at all. Chad Gable and Otis, they do look good. I like Chad Gable a lot. I like Otis too, but I'm just curious to see what's gonna happen with those two guys and with forget the crew that's chasing Otis around.
Maximum Male Models.
Maximum Male Models. Yeah, so I'm curious to see how all this is gonna play. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point though, as they seem to be pursuing Otis, it actually ends up being Gable because he's actually the one with the physique and all this stuff. So we'll see where that goes. But anyhow, the Usos, man, they look focused and locked in, man. They know what it is, man.
Yeah, there's not a team in the division that can really beat the Usos. The only team that can beat them is the current champions, and they're not really a team more than half the time. So we'll just see how that develops. Usos are going to continue to beat all the tag teams. Unless something happens with that, nothing's going to change there. But definitely, congrats to Usos on the win. Next, we had the women's number 1 contender match for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Bianca just won at WrestleMania.
Right.
And they're thrusting into a title match again.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off, Red, but I just want to make this known that, she came out and pranced around the ring and whatever, but she hasn't let it be known that all challengers are welcome to try, and she plans on holding down her reign for a while as some women champions that I know.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there.
And just as a reminder,
you know who she is. She don't need to. You know who she is.
Last week on Raw, Rhea Ripley came out and confronted Bianca Belair, and they basically agreed that at some point in the future they're going to cross paths. So that's something to look forward to. Hopefully SummerSlam will be Clash Champions, something like that. But as of right now, we had Io Sky versus Minchin, a.k.a. Mia Yim, versus Piper Niven in a triple threat for the women's championship number 1 contendership. How'd you guys feel about this match?
Respectfully, on paper, this match sounds terrible. I'm just gonna say, on paper, it sounds bad. However, though, Io Sky is really good in ring. I remember she used to she's already been around for a little minute, so we've seen a lot from her in ring. But she's very impressive in ring. It was better match than I thought it was gonna be, but it's wasn't a great match. I don't feel like necessarily anyone in there is really number 1 contender caliber to go against Bianca at Backlash. Yeah. I feel like Io Sky can be, but and she may give a good match with Bianca, But at the moment, I feel like there's maybe better options in the locker room to be there and do
Who
that.
are those options?
I mean, who like
Trish and Bianca wouldn't be bad.
that actually wouldn't be bad. Trish is in the locker room.
Can Bianca sell taking out the legend though?
No, I think Becky is safer for Trish.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I feel like Piper and Naveen, Mia Yim for title opportunities. Like I just think that's crazy.
We also
But
need new main eventers in the women's division.
That's true. Yeah, that's
We
true.
can't like who else do we have?
No one really.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think anybody else would be
And
worth
Charlotte's
unless
taking a break.
Shotzi,
Shotzi,
but she's primarily on SmackDown.
yeah.
Yeah, and they look like they have something going good with her and Natalia right now.
Well, they did, but
Yeah,
with
I
this time.
wouldn't
Yeah.
call it good. I think she
Yeah.
got something going on over there.
But
So we had Solo, Street Champ Sikoa, the enforcer of the bloodline, versus prize fighter Kevin Owens, one half of them new tag team champions out of Canada. How'd you guys feel about this main event? Another main event under the belt of Solo, by the way.
no, I'm sorry. But just to like give the overall look, the Raw was it the Raw or SmackDown after Mania? But a few shows before, Solo attacked Kevin Owens and pretty much injured his leg. So basically, this whole match it kind of showed like the fatigue on his leg. But I think overall, Kevin Owens still had put on a good match. It was still a good match. I still can't really I'm still not seeing the Solo vision. Like I don't think he's good when it comes to one-on-one matches. And
Really?
I don't.
I think this was Solo's best
It's
one-on-one
his
match.
best one-on-one match, but I just still don't think he's like. I don't know. I think there's room for growth, which is for every superstar.
Yeah.
But in terms, it was a very good main event. Before I keep going on about what happened further on in the match, I'll let Pops chime in on it.
Yeah, because you go down the hater running trail. Don't be hating.
I'm not hating. I'm just giving my opinion.
The bloodline, the Usos, the tribal chief, the wise men, anything that got to do with the bloodline, I'm here for it, and you're not gonna be hating on them. Let me get that out right now. Yo, man, shout out to the Street Fighter, man. The spike is on and popping, man. All right? Everybody that's getting it now is falling victim, whether he's in the match or he's ringside. It don't matter. If he give you the spike, it's over for you. So I'm loving to see that. Obviously, he's still a work in progress, but when it's all said and done, it's usually, peep this, though. Think about this, Not only is it the bloodline, the lineage. Bless
Excuse
you.
me.
The lineage, right? But
Right.
the thing about it is he has it in his veins, right? But then he also has it, they're with him. You know what I'm saying? So if Jay and Uso are good or they're great, that's getting poured into him. Roman, considered the GOAT, that's being poured into him. The wise man, considered the GOAT, that's being poured into him on a daily and on a regular basis. So at some point, it's all gonna come together as it appears to be.
And I think the Usos I think the Usos dropping the tag team titles and the kind of taking the background and fighting these more mid-card matches is allowing Solo to blossom into this enforcer. If you've been paying attention after WrestleMania, he's been a lot more unhinged. Honestly, he was the reason Roman retained at WrestleMania. He was the X factor in that. And now a lot of people, can do nothing with Solo since WrestleMania. He's coming out there, they're having to really yank him off of people and stop him from going back to do more damage. He's looking real scary, man. And he has not. The only person he's ever lost to is Cody Rhodes 1, 2, 3. Other than that, he just beat the newly crowned tag team champions in the main event of Raw. So he's here.
To go back on what Pop said, he's talking about everyone's kind of pouring into him, but I have to disagree because if we see these segments that we see these past few weeks, it seems like whatever Paul Heyman and Roman talk about without the blood, the rest of the blood being there, or without the cameras being there, it seems like it's I don't know, from a fan point of view, it looks like whatever they're holding something and they're not telling Solo and Jimmy and Jay. It seems like they have a different plan, or if they don't do this right, then there's like another plan for them. Like I don't know, it just seems like everything's on one accord. I know a few weeks ago we saw Paul Heyman pretty much lie to Jay. I don't know, like I just feel like it's kind of setting up the bloodline to come to an end. But I think when it comes to an end, I don't think everyone will like be like done or like washed with everything. I think they'll still be.
What does this
like,
have to do with Solo?
It has to do with Solo because I'm just saying, like, in terms of everything, in terms of bloodline, it's looking like something is about to change in the bloodline. It has a lot to do with Solo.
Every great successful family bumps heads. There's gonna be some friction. You're dealing with alphas, okay? So there's gonna be some friction. There's gonna be some chaos. What I love about Solo is he don't talk much.
He don't talk.
You know what I'm saying? Like, his older brother didn't talk because they were going through some stuff, and now he talked too much when he in the ring, right? But Solo still don't talk. Like, he don't say much. His brother say something to him, he look at his brother like he crazy. The tribal chief say something to him, he look at him like he crazy. The wise man says something, he look at him like he crazy. So he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't say too much. He just goes out there and gets out to work. So I don't know what his future is, but I know it's bright, and I know it involves the bloodline for sure.
I mean, in terms of like, I'm not talking about friction. It's just like whatever Paul Heyman and Roman talk about behind closed doors without them being in attendance is like, well, if Jimmy messes up here, then I need Solo. I need you to put him in check again. And it's just like they're like taking steps back because they see that Uso just lost. Like it's like they're taking precautions. Whereas if everything falls down, Roman will still be able to stand up.
That's how the bloodline has been since the beginning.
Like,
though.
No, I feel like
look,
they're trying to show it more. Like,
this is how it's been since the beginning. Like, since Roman fought Jey Uso,
there it is.
When Roman fought Jey Uso fell in line. Then Jimmy Uso had to fall in line, and when Jimmy Uso wasn't falling in line, what did Roman do? He talked to Paul, then he talked to Jay and said, "Get your brother in line." Or else. This is what's been happening the whole entire time. The Usos did just drop the titles, and Solo's become more of a priority in that. So why wouldn't the same thing be happening that's been continuously happening?
No, it's not. It's to me. It doesn't seem like that. I'm just saying, like Paul Heyman lied in Jay's face, told him that the tribal chief said to go here. Roman never said go on that part. Like it's just like they're trying to throw clues and like more things to show you that something is changing. Like
Ricky Bobby, not to cut you off, but in all seriousness, just because you didn't see Roman say that to the wise man said it, nothing came back saying that, why did you do that? I didn't tell you to do that.
That we saw.
So the wise man is the mouthpiece for the tribal chief, especially when we don't see him around.
Yeah, I feel like you're fishing for something.
No, I'm not fishing. It's just, if you actually pay attention and are in tune and you watch, you see that like that Jay was there. He was talking to Solo and Heyman. Jay walked away, and then Solo was like, "Oh, well, if he doesn't take care of business, I need you to take care of him." Like, why would you?
The wise man.
That's been happening.
Forget it. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to get cut off. He could just. The match is great.
What is your point? I'll be quiet. What's your point?
I'm just saying, like, why didn't you throw that thread in Jay's face when he was there? I'm saying it looks like they're like, okay, this is the bloodline, but I'm going to take a step back, and when I say to Solo, it's going to stay to Solo and Heyman. Then I'm going to take a step back, and when I said Heyman, it's going to stay between me and Heyman unless I want it to go to everybody else. So I'm saying it looks like he's taking precautions, stepping back, that if something goes wrong, because they did just drop their titles, if something goes wrong, he can still be able to stand alone and still reign with just him and Heyman like he was before. I'm not saying, like, you guys aren't really trying, like, you guys aren't really picking it up. You guys aren't really listening. Like, I just think that if you, like, look at it and, like, even simple facial things to reactions, you just see, like, you can see it. Like, they're trying to throw hints. But if you don't see it, that's on you.
Yeah, but the tribal chief doesn't trust his cousin because his cousin sided with Sammy, right? And because they had the fight before. So if there's anyone who's going to challenge his authority or has proven they will challenge his authority,
it's Jay.
It's Jay.
Well, it doesn't look like you trust anyone. Like, none of them. That's just what it looks like.
There is some, wondering where his loyalties lie. It may not lie with Sammy and KO, but it may not lie with Roman. It not as much as it lies with his brothers. It may not just lie with Roman. I don't know if he really views him as the chief of their family like that. So So I think, that's something there maybe, but I don't think that's enough to stop the reign. And as I mentioned before, the reign of Roman, the reign of the bloodline is all about having that prestige belt. And as long as they got that, he's the head of the table, and the guys who sit at the table with him are the head of the business.
If we're not all on one accord as in establishment, how are we going to it's not going to work. There's already cracks in the bloodline, and it keeps unveiling and unveiling, and if you're not seeing it, then that's a skill issue. Like you're just not seeing
we're
it.
going
like
on 1,000
what are you
days.
talking about?
I'm not talking about Raw, I'm talking about the bloodline as a whole.
Yeah. What
Like
about
you're
it?
not okay, I just
They're
talking
only,
about you
they're
not
only
listening.
getting stronger. Your point is like void. You're not really making any sense. Yes, the Usos dropped. Roman has never trusted them. The island of relevancy started with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman being selfish, trying to keep the power within. They only bring the Usos on because they need somebody to get slapped up potentially, or slap up somebody else potentially. The Usos dropped the title. Now we got Solo coming into his own. He's the enforcer. I think what everyone is missing right now is that Solo is becoming so much of a force. At some point, he's going to be uncontrollable. That's what we're missing.
Kind of like the Batista and Triple H.
Kind of like the Batista Triple H thing. That's the point that is completely flying by everyone right now. I don't think that since the beginning, I was literally just brushing up on some of the Roman Reigns run history. Since the very beginning, he's been talking to Paul, then he'll talk to Jay or Jimmy. If one of them don't agree, he'll go to the other one and say, hey, keep him in check. If he doesn't do this, then this is going to happen. This is going to happen. It's been like that, and the power still lies in the bloodline if Roman has both belts. It doesn't matter whoever else is doing whatever, as long as they are in line to take orders. I don't think anything else really matters.
I don't know. I just think that there's multiple cracks in the bloodline. They keep revealing.
And we were saying this before Mania. We thought the bloodline was gonna blow up with Sammy and them and everything. That was a lot of pressure.
I think it still is going to.
I think it'll eventually blow up, but I don't think right now what's going on with them in this very moment, leading in the backlash and everything, they look stronger to me. I'm gonna be honest. Brock got Cody out of here. Solo just beat Kevin Owens in the main event of Raw, and he's not technically even feuding with them. They're feuding with the Usos. Mm-hmm. And who's Roman fighting right now? Who's coming at the belt?
We see nobody now, man.
It's good still. It's better than it was before Mania, in my opinion. I don't think there's much pressure on the bloodline in reality, but I think they should look out for Solo. Maybe not this month, next month, but if he keeps getting better at the rate he's getting better at, I think we should keep an eye on Solo and Roman potentially.
Well, I was gonna say, and last thing to just chime in about this whole bloodline thing and Solo. Who would be better? Who would be better? So even, like we chimed in about the Triple H and Batista storyline, right? But at the end of the day, when that happened, Batista wins, okay, it's official evolution, kind of everybody's going to separate ways. But who better? You know what I'm saying? Then for someone within the family to be the one to become the man. And in this case, because it is the bloodline, although this one may not want to get in line, that one may not want to get in line, the bloodline is still what it is, which would mean they would still be at the top of the tree.
Yeah.
But to get back on the actual topic of the match, after everything happened, you see Riddle and Sami Zayn rushing, like they just landed, rushing to the ring, and they get into it with the Usos, and then they take out the Usos and they take out Solo, and then they're trying to the Usos are trying to calm down. Solo tries to go back, but they just end up ending it, basically setting up something big for next SmackDown. See how it goes. Yeah,
as Raw's going off the air, Solo is still trying to get to the ring, fighting through his brothers and.
Before Paul said something else, that's what I was gonna say. Every time something like that happens, you see him he was even trying to go back in after Cody kicked him, and so I get what you're saying when about how he's getting to something bigger and becoming uncontrollable, because you see how he's trying to I don't know. I guess that's kind of showing slowly how it's gonna just blow up.
And real quick, before we end this broadcast, I want to say Triple H popped in on SmackDown last week and had a big announcement. We got the draft coming back all superstars from
Yes,
all brands
sir.
are eligible. Braun Breaker, we'll see you on Raw, my guy. Carmelo Hayes, hopefully we see you called up. Hopefully some things get shaken up in the women's tag team division too. That way maybe we could get Liv and Raquel versus Shayna and Ronda or something to that effect. Mix up the women's heavyweight title scene as well. I want to see some new blood against Gunther as well. Some new guys against Theory.
Yeah.
All that kind of
We
stuff.
just say Gunther's the main event guy. Get him to Monday night. Stop playing.
Yeah.
That's the standard.
Gunther's money.
Hey, when the guys carrying the flagship, whether they go there.
But honestly, I could see maybe like, because sometimes they like to switch the title holders over, so maybe they'll do Gunther Raw, Austin Theory SmackDown, which would be new and it'll be cool to see them have different people. I know before they switch like the women's champs or sometimes the men's champs. I don't think that they could do that in this case scenario because Rhea pretty much just got the gold. And I don't think they would switch over to the Raw.
Also, I think this would be a good time we could break up the Street Profits painlessly.
Yeah.
If we split them up in the
Like
draft.
the New Day did. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Great point.
We could split it up painlessly. That way they're not enemies, and we could circle back to Street Profits moment if everything stays good in a year or so. So a lot of possibilities in that
New
draft.
opportunities for sure.
Yeah. What if Judgment Day gets split up?
I was thinking about that, and I could see it. I think if anyone was to get removed, it'd have to be
Priest.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they've been on both shows anyway, so if they remove, they're gonna have to be like stuck to this.
That's
one
what I was
show.
wondering too with this draft. Are we staying strictly Raw, strictly SmackDown? Are we back on that? Because a lot of people, the top storylines, even Liv and Raquel, are floating between the two.
Yeah.
But I think the women's tag champions are only one. They always floated.
Yeah, because they're not
Two
brand
titles,
exclusive. So with this draft happening, maybe Roman drops one of the titles and then somebody brings it over to SmackDown. And when Kevin and Sammy drop or they split the titles, who knows? A lot of possibilities.
There's a lot of different ways it could go.
Yeah, I think they actually should, though. I think there should be an undisputed championship, and then there should be a SmackDown champion, a Raw champion. I think it should be that way. It may not have the women's yet ability to do that, but I think it should be that way in the women's too. And that way you have enough gold to go around, and it still makes it very competitive. I may have the WWE SmackDown Heavyweight Championship for men, but I want that undisputed at some point. You know what I'm saying? That's a different level. So
Yeah, and they said that Triple H had greenlit a new title, and we haven't seen that
new
yet.
title,
so
we haven't seen that yet.
That could be a really cool announcement at the draft. So we'll see.
yeah, I'm excited for it though.
We also got Shinsuke Nakamura coming back on the SmackDown coming up. Riddle is back.
Bruh.
Where AJ Styles, please get called up, man.
You gotta get called up and win this new title.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to throw in before we close it?
That's pretty much everything. Big Face Hills Gang.
Signing off. How about you, Pops?
Nah, I got nothing. I'm really excited about going into Backlash. We got a few more weeks before that goes down, so should be some interesting things. Some of these storylines will play out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I'll actually say this. There's a lot more. I feel like there's a lot more mending for storylines because right now, Backlash is set for May 2nd, and there's not really not a lot of things are moving. There's maybe 2-3 storylines that are really moving that can set up matches, but I don't really see much. So hopefully in these next
We got what?
weeks,
LWO versus Dominic, pretty
Judgment
much.
Day, right?
Rhea doesn't have anything right now.
I think that she will end up going against Zelina Vega because of the LWO storyline.
Rhea against Zelina Vega. They have good matches together. I'm not gonna do that.
And just the LWO storyline, I think it would flow.
I'm trying to figure out confirmed stories. So we got LWO Dominic. We got Trish Becky,
and Brock and Cody.
Brock Cody, and the Usos solo. Sammy, Kevin, Luce.
Yeah, wherever that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not enough going on, but these are good stories.
Yeah, and they can mesh together.
And then there's the Gunther with Sheamus. I don't think that's over yet. They just had a little something on the other show, so I don't think that's over with.
I think they give another good match. That triple threat was really impressive. So Not
Backlash,
opposed to it.
Puerto Rico.
May
Grab the
2nd,
Coronas, grab the Modelos.
Tacos.
You know, it's lit.
Tacos.
Yeah.
Well, like some rice and beans.
I'm trolling.
You have anything to say, Pops?
No, man, I'm excited, man. Man, my boy Cody, man, Cody,
Figure it
we're
out.
rooting for you, man. Please be careful, bro.
Shocker, right, Cody? You know they're praying on your downfall for a minute.
We never prayed on his downfall. First of all,
Yeah.
we just had our picks, and actually, if I remember, I think Red picked him to win. So I was the one who picked Roman. So I like Cody a lot. I think we like Cody as a show. So shout outs to him and Tribal Chief, man. We need to see you. You know what I'm saying? Let them know relevancy out.
I can go
Island
without.
is fine. It's just fine. Everything on the island is good.
Yeah. Some people can't help but to hate greatness. Other people embrace it.
Right, like how they hating on Bianca, they
wrestling
hating on KO and
has-
Sammy. Like they're just hating, but they can help to hate. But
And other people say fallacies to try to prove their points. Nonetheless, wrestling has more than one royal family, but we them ones. Babyface Heels Gang signing out. As always, all love brought to you by Griffin Family Entertainment Network. Something like